Welcome, dear traveler. You have arrived at sleep hypnosis, a quiet harbor where imagination becomes a vessel, and night itself becomes a companion. If you enjoy these dreamlike wanderings, let your heart remember this channel, so that new journeys may drift to you each week, like calm tides returning to the shore. Tonight we begin again. A slow walk into New Orleans, the city of wrought iron balconies and glowing courtyards, of jazz horns rising through the warm velvet night, of streets that whisper stories older than the bricks themselves. Take a breath now, in, through the nose, a gentle sip, as if drinking light from a lantern. Hold it for a soft moment, and then release, long and slow, like a feather settling in still air again, breathing in, drawing the night toward you, and breathing out, letting the body find its rhythm, letting the day fall away. Imagine a narrow hotel room above a courtyard. The ceiling fan turns in circles, slow, patient, eternal. A window is open to the evening. Curtains sway just slightly, as if they too are breathing with you. From below, a trumpet tests to notes, then three, a promise hidden inside brass. And from a nearby kitchen, the sweetness of powdered sugar and warm pastry, drifting upward like a secret gift to the air. You are already here, already part of this night. The city has accepted you, quietly, without ceremony, without need for words. Now, let me guide you deeper. We will count down, each number a stepping stone, each step an invitation to loosen. 10. Your forehead smooths, like still water under moonlight. 9. Your jaw releases, free of its invisible weight. 8. Your shoulders sink, resting, in a calm embrace. 7. The chest widens, breath moving easily. 6. The belly softens, warm and yielding. 5. Your arms grow heavy, as though gravity is kind tonight, for your back widens, like wings folding into comfort. 3. Your legs sink, steady anchors into the earth. 2. The breath hums, like a lullaby remembered. 1. You are here, present and safe, ready to step into the city of dreams. Outside the window, a streetcar bell rings once, a silver circle of sound. The night begins to unfold, and your dream takes its first step onto the bricks. You step outside, and the hallway of night greets you, warm, soft, quietly awake. The street is a ribbon of brick, carrying your footsteps. Like a low drum, steady, simple, kind. Ahead, the St. Charles streetcar waits. An old green carriage, wood polished by 1,000 evenings. Windows holding the dusk like glass bowls of water. You climb aboard, one hand on the cool metal rail, one breath easing out as the car sighs. The seat receives you, smooth as a worn violin, its curve fitting the small truths of your back. Overhead, the oaks lean in, broad arms crossing, Spanish moss pouring down like grey-green silk, a slow waterfall that never hurries. The bell rings once, a silver coin dropped into a velvet pocket, and the car moves, gliding along iron rails that hum low in the bones. You look through the window. Houses drift by, white columns and quiet porches. Soft lamps glowing like tea-light altars. Ferns spill from balconies, curled and lush, as if the night waters them with music. A cat slips along a picket fence, pauses, studies you with old-soul eyes, then vanishes into a garden that smells faintly of rain. Air flows through the open sash, a gauzy breeze with pockets of fragrance, cut grass, warm bread, magnolia milk, a whisper of coffee. Your shoulders understand the message and lower themselves. By a breath, The wheels keep time. A rhythm forms, not the kind that insists, the kind that invites. If you like, let the rails do the counting. Let the bell do the remembering. Let your breath keep the choir together. You count balconies as they pass. 1 ferns like emerald lace. 2 a wooden swing, gently still. 3 someone's hand on wrought iron, a silhouette listening to the same night as you. You do not need their story. Their quiet becomes your quiet. A shared seat in the theatre of evening. The driver eases the brake. A porch lamp winks. Glass clinks somewhere in a kitchen. A soft punctuation, periods at the end of easy sentences. The car's interior is a chapel of motion. Lantern bulbs washing the wood in honey. You watch reflections slide along the varnish. Little rivers of gold keeping pace with you. With each block, a small untying. With each turn, another thread loosens, as if the city were unbraiding the day from you, strand by strand, with a kindness that expects nothing in return. You breathe in for 4, hold for 2, out for 6, again, again. The exhale longer, the body wiser. Garden district porches appear like stage sets. White railings, potted palms, a book left open on a small table. A shawl over the back of a chair, as if someone said, "Wait for me," and time agreed. The oak branches frame the moon, not perfectly, but with the grace of something alive. Light washes the edges of leaves, turning them into constellations within reach. A couple crosses the street, hand in hand, not rushing, just moving through a softness that seems to carry them. The streetcar slows at an intersection. For a heartbeat, the city arranges itself. Oak, moon, porch, laughter, all in one frame. Like a postcard the night made for you. Then the bell taps gently, and you are gliding again. You notice the scent of old wood warming under bulbs, a mild resin sweetness, like a violin practicing silence. Your hands rest on your thighs, palms open, a small yes to everything. The rails murmur under you, whispering an alphabet only the body reads. It translates as, be here, be warm, be simple. You watch a corner grocery roll past, its door propped open by a crate of oranges. Peels glowing like tiny suns, a fan turning the citrus perfume into a blessing. On a deeper block, a single blue door, paint worn in the center where lives have knocked, glows under a gas lamp's steady halo. You tuck that door into your pocket. A charm for later, for when a memory needs a handle. The car sways, your breath sways with it. A gentle duet, no lead, no follow, just motion in kind agreement. In this slow roll cathedral, time is not the clock. Time is the space between 2 notes of a far-off trumpet. Time is the sip you take between sentences. Time is the way your gaze lingers on the last light in a window, and then moves on, like the river does. You could ride all night. You could let the oaks guard you, their shadows weaving patterns on your sleeves. You could count your breaths instead of hours. But the dream is a guide with gentle hands, and it nudges you toward a place you did not plan, a stop you do not know until your feet know it first. The bell hums. The car sighs. You rise without effort, as if the seat were returning you to the air. A quick, easy step, and you are on the platform, wood warm from a day it has forgiven. The streetcar clings once more, a courteous farewell, and drifts away, leaving the rails singing to themselves. A faint silver line of sound that fades into oak leaf hush. You stand in a small corridor of light, between 2 rows of porches, beneath a sky stitched with faint stars, at the soft hinge between one part of the city and the next dot. The air tastes of near rain. Somewhere a record spins, brushes on a snare, a piano easing open like a door to a room you forgot you loved. Ahead, a narrow street invites your steps, its bricks darker, its edge lamps lower, promising nothing, offering everything that matters. A place to wander with no task except wonder. A tempo slow enough for you to hear your own kindness. You choose the left-hand path because it feels like water. You tuck your shoulders into the night, not to hide, but to be held as you walk. You sense the river somewhere not far, the old companion, a broad, unhurried breath at the city's edge. But for now, the oaks are your ceiling, the balconies your constellations, the faint music your compass, and the warm brick beneath your soles, the most honest map you know. You move forward, not to arrive, only to keep company with the evening as it folds you into its soft pockets and writes your name. In its book of unhurried guests, you follow the glow, and the glow follows you, and the night, pleased with your pace, opens another door. You walk slowly, letting the silence between footsteps become part of the music of the night. The narrow streets bend and shift. Brick laid centuries ago, still, warm, still remembering every step that has ever passed. You are entering the quarter now, the French Quarter, where time folds into itself, where shutters and balconies hold whispers of another century. And still, they breathe with tonight's air above you. Iron railings curl in delicate spirals, like handwriting written slowly, with patience, with care. From behind half-closed shutters, light spills, thin slices of amber and gold. A reminder that lives are happening, softly, just behind the walls. You smell gardenia first, sweet, thick, almost creamy in the air. A perfume that holds on to your breath long after it should have faded. Then, faint smoke, the trace of someone's candle or incense, winding up from a quiet balcony shrine. You pass a doorway draped with strings of beads, their colors dulled by night, but still glinting when a lantern sways. The beads whisper as they move, the sound like a soft rain falling only for you. Your shoes tap, left, right, and far away, a trumpet answers them, its notes bending as though the brass itself were sighing. You turn a corner and the street opens wider. Jackson Square reveals itself, a pocket of space where the cathedral rises. Tall, pale, its spires stretching like white sails of a ship ready to carry dreams further. Painters pack their easels. Brushes clink in jars. Canvases glow under lamps. Wet paint shining like small mirrors of imagination. A violin carries across the square, a sound tender enough to slow your breath, to loosen your jaw. The bow moves, and the air agrees with its rhythm. Pigeons settle along iron fences. They fold themselves into quiet bundles, watching, but asking nothing. You drift toward a small awning striped in white and green. From there, a fragrance rises. Coffee, dark and smooth, with the sweetness of sugar falling like fine powder. You need not sip it to know how it tastes. The thought alone warms your chest, as though the cup already rests in your hands. A musician sits on the steps nearby, cradling a trumpet. He lifts it gently, as though holding a bird too fragile to startle. The first notes are soft, fragile, like moth wings testing air. Then they gather, rising, round, human, true. The sound circles you, wraps you, asks nothing, gives everything. Close your eyes, if you wish. Let the music paint. Each note is a brushstroke, midnight blue for the sky. Lantern gold for the windows, soft jade for shutters left ajar like sleepy eyelids. Auburn for the violin's wood milk white for the cathedral's face. The melody settles into your breath. It does not hurry. It does not demand. It simply becomes part of you, like a dream that has chosen to stay. A carriage rolls by, its wheels clipping stone, its horse breathing slow, a rhythm older than the city, older even than memory. The driver hums to the animal, a sound so gentle it could be a lullaby. You feel it in your ribs, a low resonance, comforting, easy. The trumpet leans into one last note. It lingers, suspended, a silver thread between earth and sky. When it ends, the air still holds it, and you still hold it inside where it glows. You open your eyes. The sky has deepened, plum at the rim, velvet at the center. Balconies glow with lanterns. Shadows curl into corners, not threatening, just present, like cats finding their place. Somewhere, laughter rises, not loud, not sharp. A soft lift of joy, traveling upward, finding your chest, resting there. The quarter breathes with you. Its bricks beneath your feet steady you. Its lamps above your head guide you. Its music, its perfume, its laughter, all become the rhythm your body now understands. Here, time is not passing. Here, time is staying. Here, you are not a visitor. You are part of the story the night is telling. And the story, like the horn, like the breath, has no hurry to end. You follow the sound, as if it has gently taken your hand, down Chartres, down Decatur, then along Esplanade, until the quarter leans forward, spilling into the Marigny. Here the lamps hang lower, their halos soft, their glow like moons kept close to the earth. Frenchmen Street awakens before you, not loud, not rushed, but alive. A river of sound flowing through the warm dark. From one doorway, a saxophone lifts a silver thread, sliding upward, trembling, then holding steady. From another, a trumpet answers, its tone playful, as though smiling directly at the night dot. An upright bass keeps its steps deliberate, each note landing like a careful foot on stone. The drummer brushes the snare, soft strokes, like sweeping dust from an old table, respectful of silence, yet carrying rhythm forward. The instruments weave unravel, and weave again a conversation in sound, a dialogue of nods, yeses, and slow laughter. You drift closer until you are under the small sign of a dim club. Its door is open, the night spilling inward, the music spilling outward. You step through, the door eases shut, and the world grows hushed. The inside is darker, lamps glowing low, casting tables in pools of amber dot chairs, creak gently, voices murmur like prayer, and glasses rest heavy on napkins, their rims catching the soft light. The band sits close together, as if the instruments themselves a family gathered in a kitchen. The pianist leans toward the keys, cheek almost touching ivory. Each chord he plays opens like a small lantern in the dusk. The bass hums a deep earth tone, reminding you where your feet belong. The drummer brushes again, time itself whispered into being. The horn rises. The trumpeter looks not at the room, but into the horizon of his own memory. The note that comes is round, warm, a hand on your shoulder, a voice saying, "You are welcome." The saxophone follows, low at first, then higher, like smoke winding its way through the rafters of the room. The piano offers stepping stones of sound. The bass places roots under your chair. The horn soars, and suddenly the whole room breathes. As one, no hurry, no effort, only presence. The music asks nothing of you. It only gives, and you receive, without needing to reach. Your shoulders sway. Slow, before your mind even knows they are swaying. Your breath matches the ride cymbal. Your heartbeat matches the bass. You close your eyes. One chorus passes, then another, time slipping its watch into a quiet pocket. When you open your eyes again, the world glows softer, not because the lamps have changed, but because you have. The song leans toward its end. Notes fold into one another, the horn finding a place to rest, the piano laying the last light like a candle set gently on the floor. Silence, it lingers. No one claps yet. The quiet is part of the song too. Your hands rest open. Your jaw has no need to hold. Your body has become a chair in the music's cathedral. At last, nods pass between players and listeners, a soft agreement. A bow shared without words. You step outside again. The air is cooler now. A clarinet curls its song down the sidewalk, quick, playful, like a friendly cat weaving between ankles. Two dancers move in the narrow hall of street, their bodies swaying, their faces calm, their hands resting lightly together. On a nearby wall, a mural glows under the lamplight, teal, coral, warm purple. Colors so vivid they taste of spice and sugar at once. Above, the sky holds steady, a velvet dark pinned with silver. The stars do not blink. They simply keep company with the music, with the night, with you. You walk on each step lighter now, as if the song itself has made a home inside your chest and walks with you. The horns follow, not as sound, but as memory. Still humming, still kind, and ahead, another street waits, another turn, another rhythm. The streets narrow, then widen again, like breath, and at the end of a long corridor of lamps, you see it, the Mississippi, broad and waiting, a body of water so ancient it feels like an elder calling your name. You climb the levee, your shoes brushing soft grass, and at the top, the river unfolds before you, a ribbon of pewter, silvered by moonlight, thick with patience. The air shifts. A breeze rises from the water, cool and forgiving, touching your face, sliding along your arms, lifting the edges of your shirt, as though reminding you that you belong to air as much as to earth. You breathe it in. It smells of rain remembered, of iron rails still warm from the day, of soft mud pressed by centuries of tides. On the far bank, lights shimmer, tiny constellations stitched by human hands. They blink like campfires, like a second sky turned upside down and floated on water. A ferry passes, its lanterns scattering gold across the current. You hear the engines hum long after the boat has slid away, the sound like a purr from the throat of the river itself. Closer now, a steamboat drifts into view. Its paddle wheel turns, slow, deliberate, slicing the water into silver fans. Then, faint and high, a calliope begins to play. Its notes tumble like glass marbles, bright and imperfect, charming in their wobble, carried icily on the night air. You smile, not because the tune asks you to, but because it arrives like a letter from another century, a message written in sound and steam. You sit on the grassy levee. The ground is cool and springy, pressing into your palms, supporting your spine, as though the earth has been waiting for you to lean against it. Behind you, the city murmurs, horns softened by distance, a laugh rising and fading, the hollow slam of a wooden door. Before you, the river breathes, low and endless, a rhythm too deep for ears, but not too deep for your chest. You feel it in your ribs, in your belly, in the soles of your feet. The Mississippi knows your name and repeats it over and over until the sound is not a word, but a comfort. Count the boats if you wish. One tourist's glowing under strings of light there. Joy spilling into the air. Two cargo, grain and boxes stacked like patient puzzles. Three only its own shadow, sliding past the moon's reflection. Quiet as a thought you choose not to speak. With each count, something inside you unknots. With each count, a thread of worry unravels, floats downstream, vanishes into the wide. Dark, a fog begins to form, thin silver scarves rising from the water, curling around the lamps, sliding over the grass. It does not hide the city, it blesses it. Edges blur, corners soften, and what was sharp in the day becomes kind in the night. A whistle sounds long, low, a sound that fills the chest, a vibration that feels less like a noise and more like a reminder. You are small, you are safe, you are carried. You breathe deeper now. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. The rhythm is not forced. It is simply the way the body agrees with the river. You let your eyes wander upward. The moon sits steady, a silver coin resting in the dark's palm. Stars scatter, some faint, some bright, all silent, yet all part of the song. You close your eyes, let the sounds of water, of whistle, of faint horns behind you melt together. When you open them again, your body feels lighter, your shoulders as soft as fog, your mind as slow as the turning paddle wheel. You rise at last, not from duty, but from readiness. The levee releases you gently, like a hand unclasping another hand. You cross back toward the city. Rails hum faintly as you step over them. The streets appear again, narrow corridors of brick and lamp, and they welcome you like an old friend, waiting with a chair. Your shoes are lighter now, as if the bricks themselves lift you a little with every step, and the river remains behind, not diminished, not forgotten, but carried within your breath, within your chest, steady, present, forever. The streets bend again, guiding you northward toward Tremé, where the night hums with a rhythm that never really sleeps. Porchlights glow like soft suns, scattered along the block, marking houses like stars mark the sky. Some porches are painted bright, turquoise, amber, rose, others wear the patina of years would weathered to silver grey. On one stoop, 2 neighbours sit close, voices low, their pauses longer than their words. The kind of talk that doesn't need to finish, because the night listens to dot from a cracked window. A radio drifts outward, a brass line sweet and mellow, like sunlight seen through whiskey glass. Down the street, a gathering forms. Not formal, not staged, just neighbours, instruments in hand, a band practicing in the open air. Snare, bass drum, trumpet, trombone. At first the rhythm is loose, notes searching for each other, a question asked in fragments, then a click, a joining, a pulse. The snare sharpens the corners, the bass drum anchors the ground, a trumpet steps forward, bright, grinning, announcing joy without needing words. The trombone slides, long and lazy, like a porch swing on a Sunday. Wood creaking slow, air heavy with jasmine, the sound spills into the street. It curls around parked cars, wraps balconies in warmth, and drapes itself across the trees, turning their leaves into green symbols, catching rhythm. Your shoulders sway before your mind decides to move. Your foot taps without asking. Your chest feels the pulse, steady, deep, older than clocks. Neighbours join in, not as audience, but as family. A small parade forms a second line, umbrellas closed, waving like flags. Shoes sliding easy, steps slow, joy unhurried. Children clap, elders nod, hands meet in rhythm, smiles pass like water, shared. No debt owed, you walk with them for a while, not needing to know the song, because the song already knows you. The houses along the block watch silently, their shutters blinking, their paint peeling and glowing. Each facade a witness to nights just like this one. Nights where rhythm stitched people together without thread. A kitchen door opens, steam drifts out, savory, spiced. The smell folds into the brass, like another instrument in the band. The music does not rise, it flows. No climax, no end. Just a river of sound where you are allowed to float. And even when the band turns the corner, their horns now ribbons of silver, stretching thinner, you still feel them inside your chest, knotted gently like a charm. You will keep the block quiet. Only porch fans remain, blades turning slow as old hands waving. Somewhere a screen door shuts, its clap a punctuation, the street returning to stillness. A cat curls under a chair, blinking once, then closing its eyes, as if to say, yes, that was good. You continue forward. The murals rise now, painted along brick walls. One shows the river in colors that daylight never finds: violet water, emerald sky, egrets glowing white like lanterns of bone. Another shows musicians, faces wide with laughter, horns bursting like fireworks, but all frozen in quiet joy. You stop before one mural in particular, a young boy with a trumpet, eyes shut, cheeks puffed, breath painted as golden swirls. The swirls lift upward, across the wall, blending into a painted moon. You gaze at it, and it gazes back. The boy's sound is silent, yet you hear it anyway. It is the same music still in your chest. You breathe, long, slow, and for a moment your inhale feels like his note, and your exhale feels like its echo. The night has shown you something true. Joy does not need a stage. Joy does not need permission. It can be a brass line in the street, a porch fan turning, a mural breathing on brick, and now you carry that truth with you deeper into the night, as the city gently guides you toward the next opening, the next doorway of dream. The streets grow wider, the air softer, until the lamps thin out, and the hush of green rises around you. You are walking now into City Park, where oaks older than memory spread their arms across the night. Their branches lean low, curved with time, heavy with moss that drapes like grey silk, sliding in the breeze as if the air itself has learned to sway. Lanterns stand at intervals, casting halos of gold on the path. Moths orbit them, tiny moons circling patient suns. The ground beneath your feet is cool, damp with evening, carrying the smell of cut grass and the faint sweetness of blooming jasmine. Somewhere in the distance, a fountain speaks, steady, gentle, its syllables of water falling endlessly into themselves. You pause at a small bridge. Beneath it, a narrow ribbon of lagoon lies still, holding the reflection of stars as if they had fallen there to rest for a while. You lean over the railing, see your face in that mirror, softened, not precise, but calm, as though the water knows how to show only your ease. Beyond the bridge, the path curves again, and a carousel appears. Its horses sleep in place, carved manes frozen in gallop, eyes gentle hooves lifted mid-stride. Though silent, you can almost hear the chiming bell, the creak of wood. the bright whirl of calliope tunes that once carried children into circles of delight. You imagine the lights, yellow, citrus bright, spinning in rings, painting the night in arcs of joy, and even now, without motion, the memory of their glow seems to circle around you, a phantom wheel that asks you only to watch, to remember, to breathe. You sit on a bench nearby, the wood cool against your back, the air heavy with gardenia blossoms, white petals glowing faintly as though made of moonlight. The scent is soft, sweet, a balm that seeps into the chest, untying knots you had forgotten were there, around you. The insects hum, tiny strings of music, woven so delicately you almost miss them, but once you hear them, they stay with you, a thread of sound tying you gently to the earth. Footsteps pass, two figures walking slowly, voices quiet, their words blurred by distance, as though language itself has decided to whisper tonight. You do not need to know them. Their presence is enough, proof that the night holds many stories, each moving at its own calm pace. You tilt your head back. The canopy of oaks arches above, moss dripping like grey waterfalls, stars peeking through the cracks like small candles. Lit for no one, for everyone. You close your eyes, inhale, and the garden breathes with you. Exhale, and the fountain, the insects, the trees, all seem to sigh in harmony. Somewhere far off, a roll of thunder, low, distant, a reminder that the sky is alive too. A handful of raindrops fall, light, tentative, dotting the lagoon, making circles that widen then vanish. But then it stops, as if the clouds have chosen to move along, leaving you only with the fresh scent of stone and the faint metallic coolness of wet leaves. You breathe again, deeper now, longer now, in 4-4, hold, for 2, out, for 6, and the body understands. This rhythm is no longer something learned. It is simply the way of being here. The bench beneath you feels like an anchor, holding you steady while the world gently turns. When at last you stand, the wood releases you, the garden nods, and the night waits with another path, another door. You step forward, and the oaks bend slightly, their moss hanging low, as though bowing, as though saying, "Go on, traveller, the dream is not finished yet." The path narrows, lanterns grow fewer, and the sound of the city hushes into something slower, more ancient, more watchful. You find yourself walking along the edge of a cemetery, one of New Orleans' old cities of the dead, where stone and marble rise above the earth, where memory sleeps not below, but inside white tombs that gleam faintly under the moon. The gates are wrought iron, curled in delicate shapes, rust softened by time. Your hand brushes them lightly, cool, smooth, as if touching the city's own pulse. Inside, rows of mausoleums stand shoulder to shoulder, small houses built for silence, their doors shut, their names carved deep, letters softened by decades of rain. The moonlight paints everything gently, no harsh edges, only a pale wash, a kindness of light that lets the stone breathe. You pause at the threshold, not entering, but listening. The quiet has its own weight here, not heavy, not frightening, but reverent. Like the pause before a prayer that does not need words, somewhere deeper, a candle flickers. Its flame is small, barely visible, yet its glow trembles against marble walls, making shadows dance like souls stretching after a long rest. The air carries a different coolness now, drawn from stone, tinged with the faint perfume of night-blooming flowers that grow between the cracks. You walk slowly, keeping to the edge path, your footsteps respectful, your breath steady, Your shoulders loose. Names appear and disappear under your gaze, some clear, others fading, their letters smoothed into whispers. An angel carved in marble tilts her face upward, eyes fixed on a sky that has not changed in centuries. Her wings are chipped, but still they fold around the tomb like patient arms. You imagine all the hands that have touched these gates, all the eyes that have read these names, all the footsteps that paused where you pause now, and you feel yourself joining that lineage, not as an intruder, but as a guest, welcomed into the long continuity of silence. Crickets sing at the edges, a thin chorus stitching life into the quiet. From somewhere beyond the wall, a dog barks once, then falls silent again, its voice folded back into the fabric of night. A breeze moves through the stones, lifting the hem of your shirt, touching your cheek. It smells faintly of wax and of something metallic, the scent of time itself oxidized, sweetened, softened. You walk past a row of family tombs, each with iron gates, locked but ornate, each with offerings left behind, a flower dried into paper, a coin dulled to bronze, a ribbon bleached by sun. They are simple, but they hold weight. They are small gestures from hands that once hoped to be remembered. And now you remember, by seeing, by pausing, by breathing here. A bell rings in the distance. Not loud, not urgent, just a single tone, soft and round, like a silver coin placed carefully into velvet. It echoes once, then fades, leaving the air just a little clearer, a little more open. You stand still, allowing the hush to deepen. And in that stillness, you realize the city does not divide its living from its quiet. It carries both, side by side, woven into the same night, old and new, song and silence, stone and breath. Not opposites, partners. You smile faintly, and the marble seems to smile back. As you turn to leave, the fog begins to roll in again, thin scarves of silver sliding over the ground, curling at the corners of tombs, softening the sharp lines of iron and stone. It does not hide, it blesses. The cemetery becomes a dream of itself, a watercolor painted by moonlight and mist. You step away onto the cobblestone street again, where lamps glow steady, and the air warms slightly. The quiet remains inside you, not as weight, but as balance. Your shoulders lower further, your chest expands more freely, your eyes soften to the dim light. Somewhere beyond the block, you hear a trumpet practice again, a single phrase, hesitant, then stronger, then resting. It feels like an answer, as if the living city and the silent city have spoken to each other and agreed. You walk on, past shuttered windows, past courtyards hidden by high walls, each one containing its own secret garden. A lizard scurries across the brick path, pausing, long enough to look back at you with tiny jewel eyes, then vanishing into the crease of a wall above you. The sky glows faintly violet near the horizon, black velvet higher up, stars scattering like quiet bells across the dome of night. You breathe in, slow, deep, the cool of stone still lingering in your lungs. You breathe out, long, steady, a ribbon of mist leaving your lips. And with that exhale, you feel the night lift you onward, toward another dream. Another door waiting to open. The city begins to thin, its bricks softening into shadows, its lamps falling behind like small moons left for someone else to find. You walk until the sound of footsteps fades, until the quiet gathers thick and green, until you feel the pulse of water. Before you see it, a narrow boat waits. A pirogue, its shape long and slender, carved for drifting, resting like an animal that knows the river's moods. You step inside, the wood is smooth, warmed by the sun of a day already gone, yet cool under your palms, as if it remembers both, heat and night at once. The oar rests across your lap. You dip it into the water, lift, dip again. Each stroke is quiet, a hush upon the surface, a gentle circle widening, then fading, then gone. The bayou opens, dark water spreading wide and still, mirroring the sky so perfectly that for a moment you cannot tell where earth ends and heaven begins. Cypress trees rise on either side, their knees jutting up like old knuckles, rooted, steady. Ancient sentinels keeping watch, Spanish moss hangs low, grey beards swaying, curtains of silk draped by unseen hands. The moss never hurries, it sways like breath, like the rocking of a cradle. You breathe with it. The air is thick, but gentle. It smells of green things, ferns unfurling, water weeds flowering unseen. It smells of life that is older than streets, older than houses, older than thought. Fireflies spark along the edges of reeds. Tiny lanterns speaking in code, messages flickering, appearing, vanishing, yet always returning. Their rhythm is unteachable, but perfect. Frogs croak in deep voices, low calls that roll across the surface. An owl stirs from a hidden branch, its wings unfolding like silent cloth, its shadow stretching across the water, then dissolving into night. You push the oar again, the boat glides. The sound of water parting is softer than a sigh, softer than sleep's breath. The boat creaks faintly, a wooden murmur, as though it, too, is dreaming. You lean back, resting the oar across your knees. The current is enough. The bayou carries you. No urgency, no destination, only movement that feels like stillness extended. Stars gather above, so many that the sky becomes heavy with them. Each one blinks slowly, like eyes watching kindly, without judgment. In the water, their reflections double the sky. You drift between two infinities, one above, one below, and the boat becomes a small bridge suspended between heaven and its own echo. The body loosens further. Your hands unclasp. Your chest spreads. Even your thoughts lean back, resting their elbows on the air, content to sit, to say nothing. A fish breaks the surface, just once. A small splash, a silver ripple, then stillness again. You notice the sound, more than the sight, and even that sound feels like part of the music. The bayou has its own orchestra, crickets on strings, frogs on bass, owls in the rafters, water as percussion. And you, a listener, a guest, sitting in the softest seat of all, the current leads you into a wider pool. Here the water reflects not only stars, but the silhouette of cypress trunks stretching up like cathedral pillars. The space feels sacred, but not in a way that requires belief. Sacred in its being, sacred in its patience, sacred simply because it is alive, and it has welcomed you without question. You rest thee or entirely now. The boat steadies, then steadies further, until you cannot feel whether it is moving at all. You lie back, your head touches the curve of wood, your hands folded gently over your belly. Above, the stars pour their calm into you, breathing in, you. Feel them expand your chest. Breathing out, you feel them settle deeper inside. Inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 6, again, again. And with each exhale, The body unwinds more. Your spine lengthens. Your jaw softens. Your legs feel as though they are already part of the water, part of the current, part of the bayou's infinite patience. You are not steering anymore. The bayou steers. You are not holding anymore. The night holds. The fireflies drift closer, their glow reflecting in your eyes. For a moment they seem to form patterns, shapes, as if spelling messages only your heart can read. A heron lifts suddenly. From the reeds, slow, deliberate, its wings enormous, beating the air with the sound of soft fabric. It arcs across your vision, a line of grace drawn without ruler, without plan. You follow it with your eyes until it disappears into the velvet dark, and in its leaving, it leaves behind an answer. Though you do not know the question, the silence deepens, and in that silence you hear something unexpected. Music not loud, not close, but present. A faint trumpet line drifting as though carried on mist. Then a clarinet, low and playful. Then the brush of a snare, soft as fingertips across linen. You look around. There are no musicians, no stages, no clubs. The bayou itself is singing. Or perhaps the city, its heartbeat echoing across water and moss, reaching even here, where you float alone. The music folds into you, like a memory you forgot you had, like a song you once knew by heart in another life. It does not fade, it changes. Trumpet into nightbird, clarinet into frog call, snare into the dip of the oar as the boat shifts slightly. You realize now it was always music. It was only waiting for you to listen. You smile, a smile that does not need reason, a smile that arrives the way fireflies arrive, the way fog arrives, the way dreams arrive. The boat turns slowly, guided by the faintest current. The channel narrows, the trees thin, and the air shifts again. Brick scents return. Jasmine returns. The faint sugar of pastry returns. And you understand you are gliding back toward the city, toward its old stones, its open doors, its lantern light. The bayou does not end. It simply hands you back to streets waiting quietly for your footsteps. The boat noses gently against a wooden dock. You step out, light as air, carrying the calm weight of water inside your chest. When you look back, the bayou is already fading into mist, its trees slipping into shadow, its fireflies dimming like embers, but you know it is not gone. It is here, always here, ready to open again whenever your dream chooses for now. The city gathers you once more, and you walk onward, softly, carrying the bayou's patience in every step you return. Not because the night is finished, but because the night wants to share one more quiet room with you. The courtyard waits. A square of shadow and water, a fountain sewing thread after thread through the fabric of stone. Upstairs, the fan turns like a patient star. The curtains breathe in, out, as if the room itself has learned your rhythm. On the small desk, a postcard rests, picture side up, a streetcar under oaks, rails shining like silver strings, drawn taut across a calm song. You touch the card lightly, the way you might touch a bell you do not need to ring. The balcony door is open. You step outside. Iron under your palms is cool, honest, dependable. Somewhere far away, a horn leans into a final phrase, long and tender, and the note drifts until it becomes part of the breeze. The air brings gifts in pockets, powdered sugar, jasmine, rain on brick, a sigh from the river too low to be heard, too steady to be doubted. You take a breath, slow and longer still. The city accepts it and gives a breath back. If you wish, We will count again, not to end anything, but to open the hinge between what is seen and what is felt. 10. Your forehead is a lake at night, the moon lying quiet on its back. 9. Your eyes rest like shutters, half closed, friendly to the dark. Your jaw releases, lilting into ease, like a door left on its latch. 7. Your shoulders drift down, warm cloth settling onto a chair. 6. Your chest widens, a porch with room for every slow evening. 5. Your belly softens, the tide turning, without making a sound. 4. Your hands unlearn holding, palms remembering how to speak yes. 3. Your legs become pillars of kindness, carrying nothing but the gentlest weight. 2. The whole body hums with the music that began long before. Today. 1. And the night opens a door made of moonlight. You step through, but you do not leave. Here, place becomes mood, and mood becomes sky, and sky becomes a slow river with stars riding its surface like small boats. New Orleans loosens her borders, balconies untie into cloud, lanterns climb into constellations, and the streetcar rails lift from the brick to become two bright lines drawn across the firmament, guiding you the way silver guides water. The fountain's thread becomes a slender path of light spooling outward, across shingles and oaks, over cathedral spires, over the river's turning shoulder, until it reaches a wide, still place that feels like the inside of a held note. You follow the thread. It doesn't tug. It welcomes. Beneath your feet, the tile warms, then cools, then thins into sand, finer with each step, until the grains are nothing but soft air collecting under your soles. The city's sounds diminish into a single tone. Not silence, not music, the poised breath between them. You think of the faces you did not meet but somehow knew, the cat pausing on its fence, the boy on the mural with his trumpet, the dancer's skirt folding the night, the driver humming to the horse, the neighbors on their stoop, letting pauses be the best part of conversation. They come with you, not as portraits, but as comforts, as lanterns that do not burn out. Ahead, a shoreline of sky appears, a horizon that is also a ceiling that is also a doorway. The river you left becomes another river without banks, a slow blue brightness, too gentle to name ocean, yet too wide to be anything else. Beneath that brightness, your pirogue returns, changed and unchanged, a cradle for traveling, a skiff light enough to rest on the surface of a dream. You step in, the wood knows your weight, it knows your patience, it knows your breath, no oar is needed. You lean back, hands folded, eyes half-lidded, and the skiff glides on a tide that keeps all things in time, above you. Constellations tilt, not as maps of fate, but as friendly street signs hung in the dark. Orion becomes a balcony, Cassiopeia an iron gate, the Dipper a ladle pouring moonlight into the quiet. A faint rhythm rises. The simplest one, brush on snare, like the sound of your breath when you forget to measure it. From that rhythm, a line of trumpet appears, gold and soft, threading the ribs of night. You can't tell where it starts. You don't need to. The note is a porch swing, moving just enough to keep you between waking and wondering. Off your right shoulder, a corridor opens, cobbled with stars. If you choose it, you might find yourself back on Frenchmen Street, the door of the dim club closing behind you, glasses leaving round moons on napkins, piano sighing like a held hand finally relaxed. Off your left shoulder, another corridor extends, green and silver, hung with moss. If you choose it, you might slide again into the bayou. Owl shadow crossing your chest. Fireflies recognizing you as someone who knows how to linger. Straight ahead, the water carries you toward a room made entirely of blue. Its walls are the sky, its floor is the river. Its ceiling is the pulse behind your own heart. You enter, and nothing changes, and everything gentles. Here the city is not separate from the sea, or the sky, or your body. Here jazz is not separate from wind, or leaves, or the turn of a carousel in a garden that has forgotten clocks. Here, you are allowed to set everything down, keys, coins, names, plans, and watch them float like small boats until they become points of light. If a thought arrives, offer it a chair. If a memory arrives, give it a window. If a question arrives, walk with it to the balcony and let the breeze answer what it can. You are not trying to go anywhere. You are letting anywhere come to you. A door blooms in the air. Its frame is a crescent. Moon, its hinges made of river silver. Its handle a warm brass shape that fits your palm the way a melody fits a quiet room. On the other side, you sense possibilities, a return to the quarter, to the painters rinsing their brushes in cups of lamplit water, a seat on the St. Charles line, wood gleaming like honey, oaks crossing their arms to bless you as you pass. A stoop in Tremé, where a drumbeat finds your shoulders and gives them back to you lighter than before. A bench in City Park. The carousel asleep, horses dreaming in circles, gardenia scent folding itself into your breath. Or you may choose no streets at all, only the wide, tender room you are floating in now, where every exhale opens the surface like silk parted by a fingertip, and every inhale sets a lantern drifting toward a horizon that never refuses you. You place your hand on the moonlit handle. It is warm, as if many gentle nights have held it before you. You do not turn it yet. You do not need to. The door is already open in the language that matters, the language of ease, of unguarded shoulders, of time unbraiding itself into a single, kind ribbon. You look back once, toward the city that has hosted you so kindly. You see balconies like dark lace, windows like patient eyes, courtyards gathering their pools of shadow and water. You hear the small bell of a streetcar, its circle of sound riding the air. You taste sugar as if a memory has left its kiss at the corner of your mouth. You smell rain on brick and the green, breath of the river and the old, good timber of rooms that learned how to listen. You whisper thank you, though whisper is too loud a word. Gratitude moves through you the way the Mississippi moves, broadly, quietly, not needing anyone to see it to keep it true. The skiff tilts, and you tilt with it, and the door of moonlight brightens by a shade so soft you feel it more than you. See it, if you wish, step through now, and let your imagination take your hand. Let the rails become comets, the comets become threads. The threads become a hammock hung between two stars, with your name stitched in small cursive only you can read. Let the horn line become a path, the path become a breeze, the breeze become a sail, and the sail carry you across the quiet ocean of blue that exists exactly here, exactly now, exactly as long as you want it to, or remain half in the room, half on the balcony, half in the river, half in the sky, fractions that add up to something whole. The choice is not a test. The night will be kind to any decision you make, and should you return to the streets of New Orleans, they will remember you. There will be a chair by a window, a lamp lit at a table, a slow melody looking up from its music to nod you in. For now, let openness be the ending. Let gentleness be the road. Let curiosity lead, light-footed, unhurried. Keep the river in your ribs, the oaks in your shoulders, the carousel in your breath, the bayou's patience tucked safely in your pocket. Walk, if you wish. Float, if you prefer. Listen, always, for the silver circle of a bell somewhere in the distance, reminding you that arrivals do not need clocks, and departures do not need doors. When you are ready, follow the glow, a single lantern, then another, and another, until the path you did not have to plan lays itself at your feet, and carries you forward, quiet and sure, into whatever soft country your dream chooses next. And if you pause here, on the threshold, know that pausing is a way of moving to know the stillness can be a kind of travel. Know that every breath is its own small voyage, out and back, like a streetcar ringing once before it glides on. The night keeps you, gently, and keeps a place for your return. The story does not end, it opens and opens and opens.